Most investors think choosing between VOO, SPY, and SPYM is about performance, but it isn't. All three own the exact same 500 companies, which raises an obvious question. If the holdings are identical, why do three nearly identical ETFs exist? And why are millions of investors still choosing the wrong one for their situation? And here's the twist that most people missed in 2025. SPYM isn't even a new strategy. It's an ETF investors already knew, just rebranded under a new name, and that single change created more confusion than it should have. So in this video, I'm going to break down VOO, SPY, and SPYM, what actually changed in 2025, what didn't change at all, and how each of these ETFs are designed to be used. We'll strip away the noise, the headlines, and the assumptions, and focus on what truly matters for real investors making long-term decisions. Because once you understand why these funds exist and who they're actually built for, choosing between them stops feeling complicated and starts feeling obvious. Hi, I'm Greg Hardy, and welcome back to the channel, and thank you for being here. We cover all things personal finance, investing, and building a secure financial future. So if you are serious about taking control of your money and learning something new every week, make sure to subscribe to the channel and to like this video. It really helps the channel out and gets this information to more people who need it. Thank you. So let's clear up the biggest point of confusion right away. If you owned or followed SPLG or even heard me talk about it in previous videos, well, that fund didn't disappear or change strategies. It was simply rebranded in 2025 and now trades under the ticker symbol SPYM. Same fund, same holdings, same objective. Nothing about how it invests changed, it just changed the name and the ticker symbol. And that distinction matters because SPYM is not a dividend ETF and it's not doing anything fundamentally different from VOO or SPY. It's just another way to own the S&P 500 built with a slightly different structure and cost profile. And once you understand that SPYM is essentially SPLG under a new label, the rest of this comparison starts to make a lot more sense. And here's the part most people miss. VOO, SPY, and SPYM all track the exact same index, which is the S&P 500. That means you're owning the same companies in nearly identical weights between Apple, Microsoft, Nvidia, Amazon, Google, and the rest of the largest US businesses. There's no secret sauce in one fund that isn't present in the others. From a holdings perspective, they're doing the same job. And because of that, long-term returns should be very similar. If one of these funds dramatically outperforms the others over extended periods, that's a red flag, not a feature. They're all buying the same stocks, so large performance gaps usually points to something structural, not superior investing. And that's the key distinction. Any differences you see over time don't come from stock selection or market timing, they come from how the funds are built. Fees, trading structure, liquidity, and efficiency. Understanding that shift from what they own to how they operate is where this comparison really starts to matter. Now, this is where things start to separate. Even though all three funds own the same stocks, VOO and SPYM are built for long-term investors, and their expense ratios reflect that focus. VOO charges just 0.03%, and SPYM is even lower at 0.02% as well, making them extremely cost-efficient for buy and hold investors. Those small differences might not feel like much in a single year, but over decades, they can add up to tens of thousands of dollars or more in your retirement account. SPY, on the other hand, is more expensive at 0.0945%, and not because it's somehow better. It was the first S&P 500 ETF, launching in the 1990s, and over time, it became the most traded ETF in the world. That higher expense ratio reflects the infrastructure and liquidity it provides for traders and institutions. But for long-term investors, those advantages may not justify paying extra. Now, over 20, 30, or even 40 years, that difference in expense ratios compounds significantly, making a meaningful impact on total returns. Understanding fees isn't just a technical detail, it's a critical factor in retirement planning and long-term wealth building. And by choosing a lower-cost ETF like VOO or SPYM, you keep more of your money working for you over the long run. So if SPY costs more than VOO or SPYM, why does it remain the most popular S&P 500 ETF? The answer comes down to liquidity. SPY trades millions of shares every single day, and its bid-ask spreads are incredibly tight. That means that it's extremely easy to buy or sell large amounts quickly without impacting the price, which is a huge advantage for active traders and institutional investors. This level of liquidity also makes SPY ideal for anyone using option strategies or short-term trading. Its massive daily volume ensures trades execute efficiently, and that reliability is one of the reasons SPY has become the go-to ETF for those who need precision and speed in the market. For traders, it's unmatched, and that reputation has only strengthened over the decades. Here's the question most long-term investors never stop to ask themselves: do I actually need that? If your goal is simple wealth building or retirement investing, the extra liquidity SPY offers doesn't provide any real advantage. For buy and hold strategies, VOO and SPYM offer nearly identical exposure at a fraction of the cost, without sacrificing anything that truly matters for long-term growth. If you're a long-term investor contributing to your portfolio every month and holding for decades, extreme liquidity isn't a feature you actually need. The ability to trade millions of shares instantly is only valuable if you're actively buying and selling large amounts or using complex strategies like options. For most buy and hold investors, though, that extra liquidity doesn't provide any real advantage. In fact, when you choose SPY over a lower cost ETF like VOO or SPYM, you're paying for a feature you don't use. That higher expense ratio doesn't improve returns for someone who's investing steadily over time. VOO and SPYM, while slightly less traded than SPY, are still extremely liquid for ordinary investors. You can buy or sell shares whenever you need to without issue. You're not sacrificing anything meaningful by going with either of them. The real benefit comes from lower costs. By choosing an ETF with a smaller expense ratio, you keep more of your money invested and working for you instead of slowly leaking away to fees. Those savings may seem small at first, but over decades they compound quietly and powerfully, often making a meaningful difference in your final portfolio balance. For long-term investors, minimizing costs and staying consistent will almost always matter far more than paying extra for liquidity or features designed for short-term trading. There's one more difference between these ETFs that doesn't show up on any performance chart, and that is share price. SPY trades at significantly higher price per share at roughly $685 a share. VOO is pretty close to that at around $630 a share. And SPYM tends to trade much lower at around $81 a share. At first glance, a lower price share can feel cheaper and more accessible, but that's a misconception. Share price doesn't determine the value of the investment or its total return. The underlying holdings are exactly the same, and even fractional shares allow you to invest precisely the amount that you want. With that said though, share price can still influence how investors behave, and that's where psychology comes into play. For new investors or anyone contributing smaller amounts each month, a lower priced ETF like SPYM can make dollar cost averaging feel more tangible and motivating. That's why I personally like SPYM. Seeing yourself hold multiple full shares rather than just fractions of SPY or VOO creates a sense of progress. That visual and mental reinforcement can make it easier to stick to your plan, stay consistent, and keep investing even when the market swings up and down. Investing isn't just about math, it's also about habits and mindset. The easiest portfolio to maintain is the one that you're going to stick with long term, and sometimes small behavioral nudges, like share price perception, make a big difference. Choosing an ETF that aligns not just with your financial goals, but also with your comfort level and investing psychology can improve the likelihood that you're going to stay disciplined, continue contributing, and ultimately reach your financial goals. So here's how I would simplify it for most investors. If you're a long-term, hands-off investor focused on building wealth or funding retirement, VOO makes a lot of sense. It's low cost, highly liquid, and perfect for a set-it-and-forget-it strategy. On the other hand, if you're cost conscious, contributing smaller amounts regularly, or using dollar cost averaging, SPYM, formerly SPLG, is a perfectly solid option. Its slightly lower share price and minimal fees makes it very approachable, especially for newer investors or smaller accounts. For those who are actively trading or using options, SPY still holds the crown. Its massive liquidity, tight bid-ask spreads, and long track record makes it ideal for short-term strategies and complex trades. But for most everyday investors, the difference comes down to fit, cost, and comfort, not performance. None of these funds are bad. They're simply built for different purposes, and choosing the right one is about matching the ETF to your investing style. One of the most common mistakes I see is investors choosing an ETF based on name recognition or popularity, instead of how well it actually fits their strategy. SPY is the perfect example. It's the most talked about S&P 500 ETF, so people assume it must be the best choice for everyone. But if you're a long-term buy and hold investor, you may be paying for higher fees for trading advantages that you're never going to use. Popular doesn't always mean appropriate. And over decades, those small mismatches can quietly cost you real money. Another big issue is unintentional overlap. I'll come across people who are holding SPY, VOO, and now SPYM together, with the assumption that they're diversified, when in reality they're just three wrappers around the same index. That doesn't increase diversification, and it doesn't improve returns. It just adds complexity and, in some cases, unnecessary costs. Often investors aren't making a bad decision, they just didn't realize there was a simpler or cheaper alternative that would have done the same job more efficiently. At the end of the day, the real lesson here isn't about which ticker to pick. It's about understanding what really matters in investing. All three ETFs gives you exposure to the same 500 companies, so the choice comes down to cost, structure, and your personal approach. The more you focus on matching your investments to your goals, habits, and the account size, the less confusing these decisions become, and the more confidence you gain in staying the course over decades. That's where real long-term success is built, not on chasing the best fund, but on consistent, informed choices that fit your life. As I touched on earlier, investing is as much about psychology as it is about math. Small behavioral nudges like picking a share price you feel comfortable with or avoiding unnecessary overlap can make the difference between staying disciplined or giving up when the markets get shaky. The takeaway: stop worrying about hype, names, or popularity, and focus on what actually moves the needle for your portfolio. Those who do this consistently, even in small ways, are the ones who see meaningful results over time. And that's the real power of owning the S&P 500, no matter which ETF you choose. Now, if you found this video eye-opening, don't keep it to yourself. Share it with someone who you think needs to hear it. And if you want more practical, no-nonsense advice on building wealth and securing your financial future, then check out this video here. And also, please make sure to subscribe. Thank you for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.